Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our convention masterclass series. Super glad to have you guys that are on live. Let us know where you are watching from in the comments, or if you're watching a replay, we'd love to be able to know that you're watching it as well. Today, super excited to get to hear from our special guest, Brad Chatterley. He is the director of our essential oil portfolio here at Young Living, and he has the amazing opportunity to learn and be hands-on when it comes to our essential oils. So I'm not going to waste any time. I want to have you guys hear great information from him. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the time over to Brad to come and share about our convention essential oils. So Brad, time is yours.
Thank you, Alicia. Hello, everybody. I'm happy to be here with you this morning. I'll give a little bit additional background on me. I started out at Young Living actually working in the sourcing department for essential oils. So I started in 2015 and had the chance to meet and work with Gary and learn a bit from him. And I had the great opportunity to travel around the world and visit farms and distilleries everywhere from Madagascar to India to Taiwan to Tunisia, and many other places besides. And so that was a great opportunity, and I got to see where our oils come from, who is producing them. I saw a lot of producers that we wouldn't work with because of the quality and the processes that they had in place, and saw a lot of really great ones that we also do work with. And so it was great to have that background as I moved into this position, working on more the finished goods side and the products that get into your hands. So was very involved in the production of all of these essential oils from convention, and wanted to share with you guys a little bit more about each of them. So I think the first one we're going to talk about is Valor. And this is a return to the original formula of Valor. Now, when Gary first made this, it contained rosewood. Rosewood is a protected species that grows in the Amazon in places like Brazil and Peru. And it's very difficult, it can be very difficult to source correctly. And because of that, we couldn't get the proper oil that we needed. And so Gary had to formulate a way from using the rosewood in this product. But we have spent the last 8 years working with a producer in Brazil. And he was at convention this year. So some of you that were there or have been able to watch the videos, a gentleman named Eduardo from Brazil just loves rosewood. He loves the native Brazilian aromatic plants. And he had this vision to start a rosewood plantation. And so that's what he did. And it took about 7-8 years before the trees were big enough to be able to harvest. Now, some really neat things about the rosewood plantation. One is that the land that he was able to acquire in the rainforest has to stay 80% native forest. So only 20% of it has the rosewood trees on it. And I got the opportunity to go out there and visit and audit his facility and his distillation facility as well. And it was amazing to see the work that they have to do to not only protect the rosewood, because it's such a valuable species and a valuable tree there, but also to maintain and protect the rest of the 80% of their land. They're responsible for ensuring that it's well taken care of, that people are not coming in and poaching these native trees that are so valuable and important to the ecosystem. And so that's part of their responsibility as landowners. Now, another thing that's interesting about this new rosewood is that it comes from leaves and the branches of the tree. Historically, rosewood essential oil is produced from the trunks, from the heartwood. And usually this tree is interesting because trees don't produce the same sort of essential oil from the wood and from the branches. But there was a professor in Brazil that identified a while back that the essential oil from the leaves and branches is nearly identical to that that's coming from the hardwood. And so that's why now we can have this plantation where it's sustainable and renewable. No trees are cut down or killed in this process to provide the essential oil for us. And the care that they take in traceability and ensuring the health of these trees is pretty amazing. When we were there and we saw them do the collection, they trimmed branches, some of the branches off of these trees. They bundled them up, and every tree is tagged, every tree is numbered, and every bundle of branches they cut down was tagged and numbered with the same number to identify which tree it came from. And everything that they harvest has to be reported to the government. So when we were there, we also met with those individuals in that state that are in charge of managing these natural resources for the state that we were in Brazil, or the state that the plantation is in. And we met with them to ensure that our partner was following all the rules and regulations that he needed to, so that we could be sure that this rosewood essential oil we're getting for Valor is renewable and is legal and is following all of the regulations that's required. This was a lot of work, both for our partner in Brazil and for us to go and do this. But I really enjoyed being part of the process. And it's one of the reasons that I love Young Living, is because we go to such great lengths to ensure that these natural resources are being watched over and protected. And that's one of the values that we have as a company. And Valor, most of you know Valor. Many of you know the benefits of Valor essential oil. It's one of the first blends that Gary made. It's one of his favorite blends. He did it to inspire and instill courage in people. It's also a key oil in the raindrop technique. And so if you haven't learned about that or aren't familiar with that, please talk to someone who is, go look that up on our website, go read about it and understand other things that you can do with the Valor essential oil. This was a long time in coming, and we were very, very excited to be able to bring this back in its original formula to everyone. And Mary wanted it kept very quiet, even within the company. And so people did not know, unless they needed to, until it was announced at convention. So this is something we've been working on for quite a while. And I'm really, really glad that you guys can get it back into your hands. Now, it should be available year-round now in this new formula. I believe we are still selling the old one currently as well for a little bit, but eventually the one that you've had for the last several years is going to go away, and it will just be this one. It's possible that it could go out of stock every once in a while, because the plantation can only produce so much, and we won't be pushing them to give us additional rosewood because we know how much they can produce. The trees are getting bigger. The capacity for producing this oil will increase over time, but if ever our demand kind of outstrips the supply, it will just have to go out of stock for a little while. But we hope that doesn't happen. We hope we can keep this in stock for you all the time. So that is Valor. That was kind of one of the big exciting reveals at convention. And next, Alicia, I think we have the Ignite Your Journey. So this is actually a blend that Gary made a long time ago. And it used to go by a different name. And it is, when people were smelling this at the expo at convention, everyone has a strong reaction to this. And that's because it is a blend that's meant to be invigorating. It's a blend that when you smell it, it's kind of in your face. It's a strong aroma. It's meant to invigorate and enliven the senses. And I wanted to talk just a little bit about one of the oils in it in particular, and that's the juniper essential oil from our distillery in Mona. Now, most juniper essential oil that you can get on the market is the European juniper, and it's distilled just from the leaves and berries, and it's a very different species. This juniper is Juniper osteosperma. It is native here to Utah and the Intermountain West. And we take the whole tree. It is a native species, but it's considered, it's not invasive. I can't think of the word right now, but it spreads aggressively. It's an aggressive species, and it sucks up a lot of water. It takes a lot of water. And so there's often a lot of people who want some of this cleared from their land, because we've actually had people who, as we work with them and we go and we take some of the juniper off of their land, they've had springs that have started to run again that they said they hadn't seen water from in years. And it's because the juniper takes so much of it. So not only is this a very unique essential oil that you can only get through Young Living, the way that we manage this one as well just speaks to our concern for the environment, for nature, and helping the ecosystem around us to be as vibrant as possible. So that's one of my favorite essential oils. If you're from the West, if you ever spent time out in the mountains and you know that smell of juniper, for me, it reminds me of being out in the mountains, going camping with my family. And it's in this blend. So it's a very unique one, and it's one of my favorite oils. And this was our convention blend with the theme Ignite Your Journey. And with that really invigorating aroma that it has, it's a great one to jumpstart you into some new endeavor that you want to take on, to start that project or start that endeavor that you've been putting off maybe. This is a great oil that you can use for that. We also had this in a collection at convention. That collection is no longer available, but it was a collection paired with the Valor. And there was a protocol for using the two of those oils together to ignite your journey and then to have the courage to move forward. So I would just encourage, it's a great combination for you guys to get together and utilize. And I believe that protocol for using them together, you can still find online. So this is a great one. I encourage you to try this if you haven't yet. And finally, maybe one of the most exciting and confusing products at convention. And I only say confusing because it's new. And anytime there's something new, it can take a little bit to wrap your head around it. And these were our deep spectra essential oil extracts. Now, these are out of stock, so they're not available right now, but I wanted to talk about them because you're going to see and hear more about deep spectra over the coming months and in the next few years. And this is a brand new patents pending technology. And I'll explain a little bit about what that is and why it's important. So there are compounds in plants that are beneficial that don't come through in steam distillation. Steam distillation extracts the essential oil. Those are relatively light. We sometimes call them volatile compounds, and volatile simply means that they evaporate off. There are other compounds in the plant that can't be carried in the steam as it passes through. They're either too heavy or they're fat soluble instead of water soluble. And so we wanted to see how can we get those compounds out of the plant in a safe, beneficial way. There are ways to extract them already. Usually that's through using a solvent such as an alcohol, a hexane. And so you can put the plant material in that solvent. It will pull out those heavier compounds. And then what they do, because you don't want that solvent in there, they evaporate that solvent off and you're left with the extract from the plant. We did a very similar thing here, but instead of using an alcohol or hexane as the solvent, what we did is we used essential oil as the solvent. Essential oil worked to extract heavier compounds and molecules out of the plant material. But because we know that essential oil is beneficial as well, we didn't want to evaporate it off or get rid of it. We left it, and we left those heavy compounds that it had extracted out of the plant material blended in with the essential oil. And so maybe a good example to help understand that one is frankincense. One of the most beneficial compounds in frankincense is boswellic acid. It has a lot of uses. It's in some of our products already today, and it does not come through in steam distillation. And so we were able to take frankincense essential oil, combine it with frankincense resin, and pull out those boswellic acids so that they are now present in this frankincense squared essential oil extract. Besides those heavier compounds that don't come through in the steam distillation, we're also able to get more of some of those heaviest compounds of the volatile oil. So there are things called sesquiterpenes. These are very heavy volatile components. We were able to get more of those out in that process too. So you can think of the frankincense squared as almost a more complete frankincense extract from the plant. Then we had orange cacao. So you can do the same species, use the frankincense essential oil, frankincense resin, or you can do different species. In orange cacao, we used orange essential oil to pull compounds out of cacao beans that were grown on our farm in Ecuador. Cacao is very healthy for you. It has things like theobromine. We pulled that out with the orange essential oil, a little bit of the natural caffeine, and also some of the fatty acids, or maybe some of cocoa butter. Well, we were able to get some of those fatty acids from the cacao that are also now present in that orange cacao essential oil. And finally, coriander sandalwood, using coriander essential oil to pull compounds out of sandalwood. Sandalwood is a heavy oil in the aroma industry, the perfume industry. It's used as a fixative in fragrances because it's got so many of those more base notes, those heavier compounds, so it sticks around longer. So that's what we were going after with the coriander sandalwood. Now, some people have said, why did you pick these combinations? Why orange cacao? Why coriander sandalwood? And I think the answer helps illustrate that we're really in the research phase still for this. We are still testing things. We are still trying things out. We were excited enough about what we were seeing in the lab as we did this that we thought, man, let's share what we have with our customers. Let's let them know how excited we are about these things. And so HK Lin has been working on this. And some of these combinations were just sort of well, let's try it and see what happens. It was a real true spirit of innovation, of being curious, of exploration. Let's try these combinations and see what we get when we put them together. And they're very exciting for us. And so hopefully they're exciting for you guys as well. Sometimes people would ask too, well, they'd say that the coriander sandalwood doesn't quite smell like sandalwood. It doesn't smell like coriander essential oil either, but you don't smell these strong sandalwood notes. And I wanted to mention that partly that's because we weren't trying to pull out the volatiles. The volatiles are what causes the aroma. We were trying to pull out those heavier compounds. So you don't get a strong sandalwood aroma in the coriander sandalwood. You don't even get a strong cacao aroma in the orange cacao. It does change the aroma, but that's not what we were going for. And so we really have like the combinations of beneficial properties from the essential oil and from these plants that we added to them. Now, the other thing to note too is that these aren't just blends. We didn't take an essential oil and a cacao extract and blend them together. The essential oil is actually what was used to pull those beneficial compounds out. So it's not just a blending of two ingredients, two components together. And I think a final thing to note about this too is that these are not meant for diffusion. So because they have those heavier molecules in them that didn't come through in steam distillation, those also don't come through in your diffuser. And so if you could put these in your diffuser, what you'd be getting is the volatile compounds that you're used to, and you'd be leaving behind the additional benefit of those other compounds that we pulled out. The boswellic acids wouldn't diffuse out in the diffuser from that frankincense squared. So frankincense is labeled as a dietary, so that could be added to a gel cap and taken internally. Orange cacao is also labeled as a dietary. That could be added to a gel cap. It could be added to your Ningxia Red, to your protein drink. That's what I've been doing with it. And then coriander sandalwood, both of those plants really have great benefits for the skin. And so that one was labeled for topical use. It could be added to your skincare routine, to any sort of face serums that you're already using, moisturizers. Yeah, so let me make sure I can hit everything I want to on this. Oh, and just about the future of deep spectra. It's possible that you may not see these combinations available in this form again, but we're really excited about what these can be as ingredients and formulation in other products. So both in personal care, in nutrition, I think you're going to start to see deep spectra essential oil extracts as ingredients in in some of the other product portfolios. So I was lucky enough to get to help in the production of these and the rolling out of these limited time offerings, and they will be a part of other product portfolios in the future. That's not to say you'll never see a deep spectra kind of standalone extract like frankincense squared from my team, but it's so much broader than just being able to get it in a bottle like this. We're really excited about what this means for the future of Young Living. And, you know, we have invested a lot in researchers and people like H.K. Lynn, Chris Bowerbank, Rich Carlson, Mark Bartlett, our whole science team. We have amazing equipment and instruments in our lab. We are equipped to do this sort of research in a way that I think very few other companies are. And because of our desire to be at source, to work with the people who are distilling, to work with the people who are growing the plant material for us, that gives us access to high quality source plant material as well. Sandalwood is from our Royal Hawaiian Sandalwood partner on the Big Island in Hawaii. So we're able to contact them and procure the sandalwood from them. The cacao is from our farm. It's a special variety that is native to the rainforest there in Ecuador. Frankincense, we work directly with the collectors there to get the frankincense resin that we used in this. And so we are positioned in a way that other companies are not, to sort of do this type of innovation. When we were doing the initial extractions in the lab, we had our distillery manager from Mona come up and coordinating with us. And so it was really great to have researchers, analytical chemists, biologists, distillery managers, everybody working together to innovate on these new products in a way that I think only Young Living is uniquely positioned to do. So I'm really excited about the future of Deep Spectra, doing something new and innovative in the essential oil space that you'll only find here. So convention was fantastic. We're very excited about all of these new offerings that we had and excited to share them with you guys. And I'm just grateful that I could be here and talk to you guys about this. Alicia, did I miss anything?
You hit it out of the park, Brad. Holy cow. Like, I was literally just taking notes after notes after notes of all the things that I can be learning as a specialist of learning this kind of stuff. Because holy cow, this is amazing information. And just to see the future of Young Living, I think that's the coolest part, is the innovation that the R&D team, your guys' team, are really putting forward for our products and for not just essential oils, but just the coming products and lines that we can now go forward with. So I think the future is so bright and so exciting. And so Thank you so much. You absolutely hit it out of the park. So thank you so much for coming by and sharing all that wonderful goodness. I think that's all we can end on, because that was amazing and perfect. So appreciate everybody joining in, and thank you so much for coming in, being a part of our masterclass series. If you need to go back and check on our other products that were released from convention, we have those videos up on our Facebook page. But thank you again, Brad, for taking time out of your morning to come and be with us. Super appreciative of you and your expertise and your time putting into all the products that we get to have from Young Living.
Thank you, Lisa. Thanks, everyone.
Hey, have a good day, everybody. We'll see you later.
Bye.